Hey everybody, it's Christy with Betty Chic Boutique, and I am a part-time Poshmark reseller. You can find my Poshmark closet at Betty Chic 1116, or if you're on Instagram, you can find me at Betty Chic Boutique. And if you like this video and the content that you see coming up here, it would be great if you'd click the subscribe button or even just click the like button on your way out. That would be fantastic. So I promised a bulk listing video coming on the tail end of my 100 item listing challenge that I gave myself last week. So if you will recall, if you watched those previous videos, I listed 100 items over the course of a week, and that was a big deal. That was a really stretch goal for me, being a part-time Poshmark reseller. And then I still had quite a bit of inventory left over from my pop-up boutique, which were all new with tags items. And so I've been trying to slowly but surely get those up and listed since last Sunday. So it's Saturday now. It's been, 7 days, 7 days since then. And I finally just got the last bit of it photographed today, which was great. So I'm taking a break from the photographing, and I'm going to do my listing, which is of course part of the things that I'm going to talk about today. Just some things I kind of discovered, some tips and tricks that might help you out as you are thinking about trying to do a bunch of listing all at the same time. So I realized as I was going to sit down and make this video that there are a couple of interesting things that clearly happen as my brain is kind of working and I am trying to do a lot of photographing at the same time. The first thing you'll notice, I have 2 pairs of glasses on my head. Yeah, because I'm of course like looking at things on my phone as I'm going along. So I need readers, and this is what happens. I ended up doubling up. I usually get pretty warm as I'm going through and I'm doing my listing, so my hair always goes back, and then this happens too. This is where I actually keep all my pens. And then I discovered I have 2 pens back in my hair. But it's easy to find. You're kind of like, you got all those clothes going on, you're pulling things off the mannequin, you're doing flat lays, you're doing all this stuff, and you just need a pen. And so I keep my pens in my hair. Just thought you guys would find that funny, which is why I left them there to share with you guys kind of what happens just as I'm going along. It's like you become a little machine as you're going along. So I had 19 items left to list today. So this is going to happen by end of day today. But I went through and I photographed and took measurements and put into inventory those 19 items. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to list them tonight because I was trying to take advantage of the natural light that was, of course, daytime is very short these days, especially here in Minnesota. By 3:30, it's starting to get dark outside, and since I don't have like an official light box or anything like that, I just have a light kit. I was trying to take advantage of the natural light while I could. I didn't quite make it, but thank goodness for the light kit in the meantime. But there are a few things to think about that I use as I am going to sit down and I'm going to go through a bunch of listing. Now, the first thing, and I was doing this during my 100 item listing challenge, is I was doing some sorting of items as I was going along. Like I would do all tops, I would do all jeans, I would do, jackets. But this was kind of the stuff that was left at the tail end that either I didn't want to mess with at the time, or I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to style it, things like that. So I kind of had a mishmash of things that were left, so I couldn't do the normal sorting that I would recommend. I would spend the time to do that right away. The other thing I would suggest before you start photographing, once you have your items sorted, is to do the prep work on them. So I didn't do that today either. So I was having to stop on occasion and do a quick steam on an item so it would look okay on the mannequin. But going back to the tools that I am using, the very first thing is a notebook, which is why I have all the pens in my hair. is because as I'm going along, what I'm doing is I'm just making a note of the item. I am making a note of the inventory number, and then I'm also taking note of the measurements, because this is the key information that I need when I'm going to list, considering I won't have the item in front of me anymore. I will just have the pictures. So I need these reference numbers. So I needed my notebook and my pen. The next thing, if I'm doing flat lays, which it was probably half and half today, that I did flat lays and then I did photographs on my mannequin. So I've talked about this in previous videos, and I comment a lot when people talk about white backgrounds and such. So I found this at like CVS for like $7. It was like super cheap, but it unfolds and it is a white background. And so I use this for all of my flat lays, and then I can fold it up and I can just throw it, you know, behind the couch or whatever to get it out of the way. But that is my white background, cheap, easy way to have a nice white background. Some other things I mentioned, when I am done with my photographs, I put this stuff, I give it an inventory number on the list, and then I put it right into one of my bins. So I have address labels that I put the item number on, and then I have 2 different sizes of plastic polymer bags. These are for the smaller ones. These are the 10 by 12, and I think these are the 12 by 16 or 14 by 16. Probably says right on them. 12 by 16. Yep. So everything goes in a bag with the exception of big bulky coats or really nice kind of fancy dresses that I hang in a closet. I'm really trying to get everything into inventory in a bin, because that means I don't have to spend time when I'm doing fulfillment going through and trying to find stuff in my closet. I've missed items many times trying to find them, and then started freaking out, and then went through the closet for like the 100th time, and then, you know, I find it stuck back, like because it had shifted back or whatever. So part of my listing process is I put things into inventory right away. So I have those things. Of course, another key element is, this is just a regular old basic fabric measuring tape. So there is a lot of chatter out and about on forums and such about whether people do measurements or not. And I have just gone ahead and I do measurements on everything. Jeans, and here's my little rant and soapbox again. I understand now why we as women can never find jeans that fit. And that is because jeans out there run the gamut. In terms of what they say the size is and what it actually is when you do the measurements, especially on the waist and the rise. So measurements on jeans are critical if you want to sell jeans. I have also found that while a lot of tops run pretty close, like now I know a small, you know, the bust size, which a lot of people will put pit to pit or armpit to armpit. I use the word bust because I just think it's a little bit more, I don't know, it's pit to pit just has a kind of connotation to it that sounds a little bit like, so I'll use bust, which is this measurement when I do a flat lay. Smalls, you know, they're usually somewhere around, you know, 15 inches, you know, on the bust. Mediums are anywhere from like 16 and a half to maybe 18. You know, and on up from there. So you can, once you start doing measurements, you start to see and kind of expect what those measurements are going to be. But even on tops, like, it really helps me to do measurements on tops, because then I know, like I said, I kind of have an idea or a sense of what traditional sizing should be. And then if there is a piece that the bust size or the length is running, you know, in an unexpected direction, I can say, this piece is an oversized piece, or this is a cropped length, you know, because you start to understand what the sizing, the traditional sizing is. So I do measurements on everything. So jeans, I do a waist measurement, I do a rise, I do the outside length, and then I also do the inseam. On any coats, tops, those types of things, I'll do the bust measurement and then the length measurement. I also put little stars and put all measurements are approximate in my listing. Poshmark doesn't approve returns for fit, but yet at the same time you start to see a little bit more of people talking about cases that are being opened because the size was just crazy off, and maybe there was something else that happened with the item that the case ended up being approved. So I'm just trying to give my buyers as much information as possible. And I don't think that I'm off by inches or anything like that, but if they take a measurement in a slightly different place than I do, at least this kind of covers me from that perspective. So I think this is a key part of the listing process. Does it add time? Yes, absolutely, it does. But at the end of the day, I am trying to provide the best buying experience, especially when somebody is using Poshmark for the first time and this is their first experience. You want to try to do everything you can do to give them a good quality experience. So those, I think, are some of the basics. Those are necessary things. Something that allows you to take a picture of the item and show the true color of the item, being able to do measurements, if you're putting it into inventory right away, and of course, your phone. I take all of my pictures on my phone. I do any kind of light adjustments. I just use the standard camera app editing software. I have the other editing apps, but they seem to take more time than it's worth for me. Other people use them and say they can do it in like 30 seconds, and that's fantastic. It's just easier for me to do it right on my phone in the camera editing app, so that's where I do it. Now, some of these other things that I have that I use as part of my listing process, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. So at PoshFest, I went to the session that's all about, taking great cover shots. And there was, a lot of talk about doing more of the stylized type cover shots. And so I thought, what the heck? I mean, I'm always looking to do something different that might help my items sell better. And so what I started doing when I came back from PoshFest is I started trying to accessorize or add little pops of something to my listings. So if you were to look at my closet right now, it's pretty obvious where I went from just having, things on a mannequin or a basic flat lay to doing more of the stylized type of cover shot. And so what I started doing is for tops and jackets and things like that, I would add just a pair of pants underneath. I started adding a pair of, shoes to it. And then I also have these cute little butterflies that I picked up at the dollar store, which I think are so cute. And of course, they're like all stuck together now. But just like putting little butterflies like in the corner, just to make my listing pop a little bit more. I was going through and I was looking at how much time. So today I'm just tired. Like I feel like I've been listing these items from the pop-up boutique forever. I feel like I've been listing them forever. And I just really wanted to get this done. And I was about an hour and a half in, and I looked at the number of items that I had, already taken photographs for, and 90 minutes in, it was about 9 items. Now, granted, I was doing inventory at the back end of this too, but that doesn't take too terribly long, just to figure out what my item number is, grab a quick, address label, throw it in the bag, put it in the bin. Like that time is pretty consistent, but clearly doing these stylized cover shots adds quite a bit of time because I was running about 10 minutes per item. That's a lot. When you're looking at doing volume listings, which I am, 10 minutes just to photograph, and then you figure you add another 5 minutes, per listing to do the listing itself on Poshmark, just to do a quick check on comps and write your description and everything, get everything up there. That's a lot of time, especially when you're selling a lot of things that are $25 or less. I can absolutely see doing the really beautiful cover shots and really taking your time with the listing. If you don't have as many items in your closet, or you're doing really high-end type items. I mean, I would expect that. If I'm spending hundreds of dollars on an item, I want to see all 8 of those photograph, options where you can add up to 8 photos on Poshmark. I want to see all of them. I want to see every angle. I want to see the fabric tag. I want to see or be able to envision, what this piece is going to look like for me. So I got through those 9 items, realized I still had 10 items to go, and it was 3:30 and it was starting to get dark, and I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do any more of this, especially when I'm not sure that this is really making an impact in me making more sales. Like if I knew for sure doing these stylized cover shots was increasing my sales significantly, then 100% the time investment is worth it. But I don't really see a correlation. What I do see is getting more listings up. There is an indirect correlation, I think, to sales. Having coming off of my last video, and I need to get this inventory up, and I need to have it available because it is Thanksgiving Day weekend. People are online shopping. People are looking for gifts, and having my new with tags items listed means I have the more potential to grab eyes. So for those last 10 items, I went back to the way that I had been doing it before I was doing the stylized cover shots, which is putting it on the mannequin, and I'm looking because my mannequin's right there, putting it on the mannequin or doing a flat lay if it doesn't fit on my mannequin, and just doing regular basic photos. So nothing special about them, but yet at the same time, taking all of the angles, doing the fabric tags, of course, doing the, all of the different options in terms of giving buyers a good idea of what they're buying. But I wasn't doing the stylized cover shot anymore. So once I finished up about 5 o'clock, so I started around 2:30, finished at 5. 2.5 hours is what it took me to list or to photograph 19 items, which averages out to about 8 minutes per item. That was including putting it into inventory. So as soon as I got rid of these, the idea of doing the cover, the stylized cover shot, my time, it was starting to go way faster for doing the photographs. So again, I think that for the right item, I will still do some type of stylized photograph. But right now, I don't have time. I'm dealing in volume, and I need to get things listed, and time is money when it comes to that. So hopefully, if you decide to do cover shots, I think all of these things are in inventory in my closet right now. So I didn't, go out and really buy anything other than my butterflies, which cost me $1. So other than that, everything else is for sale in my Poshmark closet. So I just pilfered my closet a little bit to come up with the different items to do the stylized cover shots. And if you think that's something that would work for your closet, I think that's great, and you definitely should do that. Just know, of course, that it is adding time to your listing process. And so it's pretty basic. Do your sorting, do your steaming, then do your photography, do your inventory, do your listing. What I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm just going to be sitting here watching some of my favorite shows, and I am going to be listing using my handy dandy notebook with all of the information that I gathered from doing my photographs. I'm going to guess it will take me another probably 60 to 90 minutes to do the listing, and then I will have all of these 19 items up and listed, and I will finally have everything that I bought for the pop-up boutique listed. Super excited about that, guys. I can't even tell you. I still have a pretty significant death pile because I went through my own closet again, which I haven't done for a little while. There's a bunch of clothes that I have not worn in the last year, and I'm trying to really think about more of this whole minimalist type philosophy myself outside of my Poshmark business, because goodness knows that takes over my house. But that is what, so I have a ton of things from my own closet that I'm going to go list. I have a significant amount of things that have come in recently because now that my family knows that I do Poshmark and they've seen some of the success I've had, they're bringing me stuff to list for them. So I'm doing some consignment for my brother and for my mom. And so I have a lot of things still to list, but none of these things are new with tags items. So I am not as concerned about getting those up, really quickly because of the holiday season. I'm also starting to mess around a little bit with an eBay store, as well as trying to list some things on Tradesy, some of my higher end items on Tradesy to see how that works out. But I just started doing that a couple days ago, so nothing there to report yet, no sales or anything like that. So it's still my primary focus is Poshmark, and it's a good thing I love it there because this is a lot of work. I don't think there is any way to do shortcuts on listings. The best you can hope for is to shave some time off of things, and I already have some things that I'm thinking about doing that can continue to do that once I have space. So I don't have a lot of space to dedicate here in my townhouse to my Poshmark business, but that is going to be changing tomorrow. I am clearing out my extra bedroom, and I'm going to officially turn that into my Poshmark office. And once I do that, the world is going to be my oyster. I'm really excited about some of the things that I'm thinking about doing. But so that's it. That is what I do in terms of my own listing. I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any listing tips that you would like to share with everyone, I would love to hear it in the comments below. And like I said, if you like what you see and you like some of my other videos and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, the subscribe button is right down below. Or a thumbs up like. I appreciate that too. I appreciate if you have hung out with me for the last 21 minutes. Wow, I didn't know this was going to take that long. So clearly I had a lot to say today about listing. And as always, my name is Christy, part-time Poshmark reseller. You can find all of these items and many more in my Poshmark closet at Betty Chic 1116. Again, my Poshmark closet is Betty Chic 1116. You can also find me on Instagram at Betty Chic Boutique. And I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving weekend, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.